So can I use the same saddle for both my road and my TT bike?
It depends on the individual and the position that the bike's set into, but generally the answer to that would be no. The main reason being that on a racer, on a road bike saddle, the position is aiming to try and support more through the kind of the rear part and the mid part of the saddle, with very little kind of padding or support through the nose in a very narrow position at this end of the saddle. So yeah, you tend to find that with various different road saddles that they kind of come in a similar kind of vein. Some will often be a lot wider than these two examples, so things like the Specialized Power, for example, but generally all trying to support more through the rearward part of the saddle, with you sitting more towards the sit bones. On a TT bike or a tempo bike, for example, you would aim to get a lot more support through the nose of the saddle. So you've got something that's a lot broader through the front and more padded in this area. Even things like an ISM, for example, where you have kind of two noses on the saddle, can even give you an even wider space through here. Because the majority of the time you're hoping to be in the arrow position and using this fore part of the saddle to support the hips, not kind of sitting up towards the sit bones on the rear end. So generally they'll kind of have these sort of broader, wider noses with a lot more kind of padding through the front, so that you can support weight on that smaller area. So you kind of see those overlay next to each other. So things like the like a road saddle next to there, just a much narrower place on the front, which if you try to roll the hips forwards and sit on that, will generally cause a lot of numbness and pressure sores and unpleasant things. So in short, for some people you can, but for the majority of people, no.